What mic are you using too?
And the one that is up.
Start your day the grown-up way, right here. Smooth breakfast. Always fresh and highly informative. Every move you make, every serve you make, every call you take, every fighter you beat, every record you beat. We will be following you. Every single jump, every trophy won, every wicket you
Donuts.
break, every breakaway you make, every cross, every goal, every dunk, every pit stop, every loss, every victory, every single sport. We will be watching you. Welcome inside the locker room.
Good morning and thank you for staying with us. You're tuned in and listening to Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. This is Smooth Breakfast. My name is Valentine Ohu. I'm not alone in the studio, guys. I'm here with Tega. Good morning.
Good morning, Lagos. Funny.
The joy. The joy.
Loneliness is not a good thing
No,
here.
it's not. Join us on YouTube. We're streaming live so you can watch our wonderful faces and say hi to us. And also on Twitter at Smooth981FM. Use that hashtag LockerRoom981. You can send a message to WhatsApp to contribute to the show. WhatsApp number is 0809 444 Welcome. Our first story is that of cheer, or maybe is it? Nigeria has invited 6 uncapped players, including Chidera Ejuke from CSK Moscow and gang striker Cyril Dessers, for next month's friendlies against Ivory Coast and Tunisia. Football officials have confirmed to AFP on Monday. Nigeria will face Ivory Coast on October 9 and 4 days later take on Tunisia, with both games to be played in Austria. The other uncapped players called up are goalkeeper Matthew Yakubu, new Porto signing Zaidu Sanusi, as well as midfielders Samson Tijani and Frank Onyeka, according to officials.
Okay, so the list caused a little bit of a hiccup when people saw the new names of the players invited. And it seems again like we are going international. Um, yes, oh sorry,
Yes, we
not
are.
we are going.
We
Gone
have we are
international.
international.
Because Sirodesa's club is Genk. Chidera JK plays for CSK Moscow. Samson Tijani plays for TSV Hartsberg. Seydou Sanusi plays for FC Porto. Onyeka plays for Midtjylland, and Yakubu plays for SKF. Okay, Serid. Now, you know, some of these names are not the most popular names you've heard in football,
No.
but they are playing abroad. So it seems as if the fastest route to Super Eagles is via Europe.
Yes. You know what they say about the prophet in his hometown, eh?
It's tricky. But I will say this though. I understand where they're coming from with the way the MPFL has been, the struggle to restart the league, the problems of the league and organization and all. And there'll be all those debates about which players show up better, the local based players or the foreign based players, or should there be like a quota system so to help promote the league or grow the league, this particular number. There's always going to be that debate, and I would say on both sides of those debates they have, I'm beginning to sound like a certain president, but they have good guys on both sides.
Yes.
But and at the end of the day, it comes down to those players that are active, and I'm all for inviting new players to the Super Eagles, because that's what it is. You don't get your jersey because you've played for the Super Eagles before. You get your jersey because you've earned a sport. And sometimes what earns you that sport is your form, and if you're not playing, we don't know what form you're in. So I guess for now that's the best justification that the Super Eagles have. On the other hand, you have your usual suspects, the Etebos, the Wilfred and Didis, the um, Iwobis, they are here they're still all making the list. But the new addition is just to see how it's just to give us options and variations. That doesn't guarantee that they'll always be here. But they have the opportunity to showcase what they can add to the Super Eagles. And if you're angry, just get ready to be angry a lot more, because there'll still be more new players coming from Europe to come and test out for the Super Eagles. So I'm guessing that's what it is. But good news that they're able to these friendlies. And most importantly, it's a country that they chose, Austria. It's not one of the countries that with the they say some people are guessing that there will be a second lockdown looming in Europe because of the spread, and the numbers have started rising again. Austria is
Spain,
not,
France,
yeah, Austria is not
UK.
one of those countries.
How did
So
they even miss it? That's so good.
I mean,
I know it's a weird question to ask, but someone's gonna
that was
ask
it.
it.
That was a good choice, though.
Yes, it
If it's going
was.
to hold, most likely Austria will still
Austria.
be open. Still be open.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. I was just a bit concerned for the home based players, though. I don't know how this news bode for them. But anyway,
And they should first start asking how we can start our league, because in order to start your league, there's a lot.
yes, that's the
Uh,
thing. The other day I was watching a video by the late MK Abiola when he
yes,
relayed
and you
his
know he was
experience of how he was
yes.
personally funding the female league. Man. Anyway, let's move on. Simona Halep. She lifted her first Italian trophy, guys, on Monday. A confidence boost actually ahead of next week's French Open after defending champion Karolina Pliskova retired injured in the Rome final. Finally, I've won it, said the 28-year-old Halep. The start of my going up in the ranking was here in 2013, so I really dreamed of having this title. Ah,
Well, I'd say this. She'd been beaten several times by a certain Svitolina. Fortunately for us, Svitolina was not around. She's struggling with her own injuries.
can she just take this win and rest it?
So,
Like,
no, no, look, she's a Grand Slam winner, and there's a reason why she's world number two.
okay.
So she's actually a fantastic athlete. But sometimes some players struggle on clay. She's not your natural clay court expert. She plays well, but you'd most likely see her win on a hard court and maybe even grass, but not necessarily clay. So to get a title on clay was good. But like I said on Monday, this was always going to be down, really, to the Pliskova that showed up.
Yes.
And the
Her
Pliskova
condition.
that showed up was not a good Pliskova. She was injured, and she was not giving her 100%. So of course, by the time she retired, uh, at the early stages of the second set, it was obvious that
She couldn't continue.
yeah, because but when she started the match and she was struggling, I said, which kind of Pliskova is this again? But I noticed that her movement, because there's just some shots she will not chase down. She was not even looking at those shots, because if she was on one end of the court and Halep served on the other end, she would just be like, okay, have fun, I'll be here.
But the sheer will of going into the game in the first place.
Yeah,
When you knew
I
they had to
think,
struggle
yeah.
with that.
Sometimes some athletes feel that they can make it, and they can manage injury. Remember when Naomi Osaka won the U.S. Open with that thigh strain, and now she has dropped out of the French Open because she cannot,
Yes.
her body really can't take it. And sometimes that's what happens. Sometimes they play through the pain, and it depends on what the pain is, and they aggravate the situation, which is I suspect what happened with Naomi Osaka, because just the week before she had dropped out of Western and Southern Open, and then she played the US Open and won it, and now she's out of the French Open. So sometimes they play through the pain, but I don't think Pliskova's own was something she could play through, because she was struggling with the thigh, and then she called for the trainer for her lower back. So there was a lot going on with her body that was just not right. So I mean, Simona Halep just. uh, I'm not taking anything from Simona Halep's game. She still did her part. She played very well, but she was very grateful that, you know what, I won this. Now it's in my trophy cabinet. I can move on to another wish list, try to get something.
Mm.
So congratulations to her once again. Wait to see what will happen in the French Open, but it's a good confidence booster
Yes, it
to
is.
take into the French
It
Open.
is. Injury or not.
Yep, yep.
Rafael Nadal remains number one favorite. That's for Roland Garros. Rival Novak Djokovic said this on Monday, despite saying that the Spaniard's last 8 exits at the Italian Open showed he can be beaten on clay. In his words, even though he lost this week, I still think a lot of people will agree that he's the number one favorite, and the record that he has there, the history of his results, you just can't put anybody in front of him. That's what Djokovic was quoted as saying. He also
Yeah.
extended by saying, but definitely Diego showed that Nadal is beatable on clay.
Yes. Like I said when the tournament started,
Yeah.
I didn't think Nadal was in this to win this. I think he was just trying to get as many matches as he could under his belt.
Oh, okay.
Hadn't played since February, competitive match since February. So there's one thing to be fit, and there's one thing to have match fitness. And so in as much as he was in good physical shape himself, that match sharpness comes with competitive matches under your belt. So I suspected that he would be caught, but because he's Rafa Nadal on clay, somehow he just always presents as invincible.
Mm-hmm.
Rafa Nadal on clay, but Diego Schwartzman did test that metal and got the win. And then Diego Schwartzman also went on to win Shapovalov, but the journey against Novak Djokovic was just too far. And Novak Djokovic, being the man he is, resilient, attack minded, very good defensively, he just brought his A game to that final. And even when there were moments where Diego Schwartzman thought I had a sneak in, Djokovic quickly shut it down. Like, dude, no, we're not playing around here. Straight sets. And so, with that Djokovic's win, he has his 36 Masters title, which is the highest number of titles, Masters title by any player in the Open era. So he has that under his belt, and that's also another confidence booster going into the French Open. He seems more ready for the fight of the French Open, but he's saying, regardless of the fact that I just won the Italian Open, Roland Garros is and Rafa Nadal is hard to break up that relationship. So he's still the favorite.
Yes.
I may win it, somebody else may win it, but he's still the favorite. So if you take him for granted, you take him for granted at your own risk.
Mm-hmm.
And I totally agree with that summation. I just know that Novak Djokovic, being the person he is, Novak Djokovic knows he's not the most liked tennis player. He knows he's not even considered the greatest tennis player, but he wants to tumble as many records as he can, so that there's no way you have that conversation of the greatest tennis player and his name doesn't pop up. That's what he wants. He's just, they don't like me. Yeah, they don't like me, and they don't think that my play is the best play they've seen. But if I have the records, you can argue my methods, you can't argue my numbers.
Right.
Do you understand?
Yes.
If I have the records, then I will always be in that conversation. And he chases those kind of things with a single-eyed vision. It doesn't matter what is going on around him, that's what he chases. And because of, I've seen the way his determination and his focus have gotten him this far, I'm sure he's going to be chasing the French Open like that and trying to get as many records as possible.
Awesome. Now, the Western manager, David Moyes, and Hammers players Issa Diop and Josh Cullen have tested positive for coronavirus, the Premier League club announced on Tuesday. West Ham's medical team were informed of the test results while Moyes and his team or squad were at the London Stadium preparing for Tuesday's League Cup third round tie against Hull. Tuesday's match went ahead as planned, and with West Ham assistant manager Alan Irvine taking charge of the team. Saga.
Yes. For those Arsenal fans that are asking, yes, Arsenal played West Ham, but Arsenal's results so far haven't turned up any positive tests. So Arsenal players are fine. But this is what's happening right now in Europe. The number of cases of
Historically,
COVID
yeah.
tests
Yeah.
has started rising even in sports. So that remember there was a time they were saying that by next month, which is October, that they will allow a particular number of fans to come in. The Prime Minister of UK has quickly come out to shut that down. That it's not happening.
I like how Boris Johnson just steps in quickly and said, nope,
It's not happening
not
because
happening.
there is a spread, and those
Yeah.
those things are causes for concern for the community generally. So it's not happening. And some teams are turning up those results. I think Leighton Orient, that was supposed to play Tottenham Hotspur yesterday, had 10 of their first team players. So the match was cancelled. But
How many players are left? 10. Wow.
So I think because of those numbers that are rising, people are questioning how long can the league really go on
Yeah.
without a vaccine in sight and all of that. West Ham's game still went on yesterday. They won their game by 5 goals to 1, and was the assistant coach that sat on the bench, and the players that were affected were dropped, and the team went on to win the game. But those are the concerns are now beginning to spark attention. Okay, if the players are just, I don't want to be here. So those are issues. I would say this though, in places like Germany, where they handle the coronavirus situation in, I'm still amazed at the fashion. I don't know what name to give it. Fans have started coming into a few sporting activities. In Hamburg Open, for example, you see some fans. In Italy, some fans have started coming in, but you see the mask, you see the social distancing, but they are there.
Yeah.
For Roland Garros, I think they've cut down the numbers from 10,000 to 5,000 fans. So there's still places where they're letting fans come in, but we don't know for how long
Yeah.
without a vaccine. So we wait and see how this pans out.
All right, talking about wait and see, this is a perfect time for you. In fact, no, see, let me advise. Let's do something together, guys. You're listening to Smooth 98.1, Smooth's Breakfast with Valentine and Tega on the Locker Room 981. Please take a second to get up from your desk, walk around, and we'll be back. Yep.
What's it?
Huh?
What's up?
Nothing. Let's stretch. Yeah.
So it's a
I
whole
want
new
donuts,
world for
so
owners of small
what will
businesses.
I do? Where will I even get donuts?
Those who take advantage
I know somewhere that you can get it.
grow their business
Where?
and
Somewhere
attract
via.
more customers. And of course,
Where?
I'll give the
every
address.
business
So I
owner
don't.
loves the sound of
I'm not going anywhere. That's
my-
that's half. I think that's half the problem.
That's the point.
Half the problem is I have to go out.
Businesses stay open and of course even homes. Now we all know that getting more customers and growing your business in
see if
these
we can
times,
message on
well,
YouTube.
is very tough. It's pretty tough. This is why Visa, the global payment
Half the
technology
problem
company,
is
continues to use its Where You Shop
Yeah.
Business initiative to support small businesses through the Visa SME.
But I
Now, the
think
Visa SME Hub
I can
is
get
a
from
platform
Hubmart now.
providing business
But I can't go
tools
to
and
Hubmart.
You're
information
a free
on
ad.
how to start, run, and
Oh, this thing is
grow
on.
small businesses. Now, the platform is on Visa Nigeria's website, www.visa.com.ng.
Hey, Tajideen.
Again, that's
Mr. Valentine, why are you blocking Taga's face?
www.visa.com.ng.
It's not me. Oh.
He's social distancing. I can't sit any closer to him.
I am right here.
I
all the way over there.
will
Oh, it's
attempt
because of
not.
the mic.
I know what he means.
No, that makes
Is it better? Go and check from
Yeah,
there.
better.
All the tender
Okay.
loving care that it needs to thrive and grow. So, of course, we know how this works, TLC. Everybody loves TLC. Also, through this initiative, small businesses get to enjoy the free online store where you can showcase your products to a wider customer base and get reached by customers easily at any time.
I'm
Not to forget
hungry.
how easy it is to receive payments from customers once you have your online store running. Now, here's the big one. Did I mention that you, yes, you as an entrepreneur also qualify for $200 worth of free advertising to promote your business once you're among the first 100 businesses to
As soon
register
as I'm
on
done, I'm running home.
www.visa.com.ng. So, if
I need to
were
sleep.
you, I will hurry now and head to the website to register. So, don't miss out. Enjoy all these and more from Visa by registering on, wait for it, www.visa.com.ng. Visa cares about SMEs and their growth, and I believe you also care about your business and its growth. You can follow at Visa underscore NG on Instagram and at Visa Nigeria on Twitter to learn more about this initiative. So take
This place
that
still
step today.
smells like new
Register
road.
your business on www.visa.com.ng.
Hello, this is Jessica Bongos, and you're listening to the Smooth Breakfast Show.
Mm. My name na Lady.
What's today's date?
Professional
23rd.
Wi-Fi.
Still.
I know, right?
Eatery,
Ah,
anywhere
wow.
you see
Still.
Wi-Fi.
I can't be here.
Almost to
23rd long, long.
Yep.
No Wi-Fi
Say
like
1
this.
week.
Lady T
To go.
don't japa. See, ask God. Direct access to hotspot will show whether we go see later or never. But man, life not supposed get this kind of wahala. That's now why with Airtel new
excuse me.
plan for
Hello?
data, like 6 gigabyte for just 1,500 naira. I don't get more data to take you shakara.
Get more out of life with the new Airtel data plans, like 6 gigabyte for 1,500
This thing is not charging my phone.
Start
Yeah.
on apps now.
Why?
All right, we're back.
Is live. Airtel, the smartphone network.
You're listening to the Smooth Breakfast.
Smooth 98.1, love music, love life. It's the Locker Room 981, part of Smooth Breakfast with me, Valentine. And Tega Supreme is in the studio. Please send a message to WhatsApp 0809 444 0981. And a message from Crew says, Tega in the building. What a nice gif there. Zikolo says, the new colors to our national team is a welcome development. Donald Raw has continuously done that. But I disagree. Players like Iwobi should be invited. The player should be playing a good time of footballing in his club to be invited. He has not been able to be in Everton's first 11. The choice of country for the friendly is commendable. And what's your name? Ronson from Abalende says, Nadal should win Roland Garros to make it 20 Grand Slam to equal Federer and set himself apart from Djokovic. Nice. It says, Italy and Netherlands already have spectators trooping to the stadiums this season. Grade 1 says, Nadal any day, anytime, still remains the numero uno on clay. Congratulations to Halep on her win. I hope this recent emergence of COVID-19 among players wouldn't force football into another dreaded suspension again. Manchester United weren't that impressive last night, even if Dean Henderson was superb. The here should be scared. All right, let's talk about the other Manchester, that's the City. They will draft in players from the club's youth academy for Thursday's League Cup match at home to Bournemouth, with manager Pep Guardiola saying that he did not have the squad size to compete in two competitions at this stage of the campaign. According to statements by the Spaniard, he said he was quoted as saying, "We won the Carabao League Cup 3 times in a row. I would like to continue, but we don't have the players in this period to play every 3 days."
Well, let me put it this way. He's right. um, about Manchester, they're struggling.
Yes.
If you saw the team selection for their first match on Monday, you could tell that he didn't have so many options. And if you ask Pep Guardiola, what would you focus your attention on? It would be getting back the EPL title, not the Carabao Cup. He'd like to compete on all fronts. He'd like to get as many trophies as he can. But if he had to make a choice, then he'd prioritize like most people would, not everybody, like most people would, the Premiership over the Carabao Cup. So I totally understand with him, and sometimes this is what you have when you're a manager of one of the big teams and you have to make decisions in all of these competitions. Hopefully his academy team will be able to scale through.
Yes.
And this is what teams used to do before everybody started competing too much for what was left in the in England. It used to be that they'd use B team players and some young players in the Carabao Cup in the early stages of the Carabao Cup, and then maybe when they get further towards the business ends, that's when you start seeing regular first team players. But now everything has changed. Competition has entered everywhere. Ordinary Community Shield now. You can see Diego Maradona. Just joking. But so that it is what it is. He has to prioritize, and he will take the Premiership. So I understand what his struggle is, missing 7 players. It's not the time to be risking stuff about on any other thing. So he should do what he likes. He should just know that whether he uses academy players or crutch players, if he loses, he will still be dragged. He will still be dragged.
Hola, Redwan, please pay attention to this. This story is for you. Manchester United moved into the League Cup fourth round with a 3-0 win at Luton. Now, Tottenham side, or tie actually, at Leyton Orient was postponed after their fourth tier opponent suffered a COVID 19 outbreak. Now, the news of the virus striking at football's heart came after British Prime Minister Boris Johnson dealt a major blow to the sport's financial future on Tuesday. Johnson said fans would not be allowed back into the stadiums in October as originally planned due to a spike in virus cases. I like this guy.
Look, those were decisions they had to make, like I said, because of the spread. But again, the way it's affecting a lot of footballers, you wake up in the morning and the first question is, okay, who has tested positive today? Because they take their tests a little more regularly. It's a big issue. For Manchester United, though, like I said, with teams that are competing on many fronts, on multiple fronts, they have to prioritize. And so they started the game with a few players that you would not have seen on a regular day in the Premier League play for Manchester United. But I think after getting the first half penalty, and Luton looked like they were going to come into the game. I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted to be the bands of this week.
No.
So he decided to send in a few, players that you would normally see play regularly, like the Greenwoods and the Rashford, and they were the ones that got the two other goals towards the end of the game. But it was not a comfortable win for Manchester United, and that's expected when you have the team that he sends out, a team that doesn't play as regularly. So it's expected. I don't expect most of the top teams to be looking at pretty football at this stage in the Carabao Cup. They should just be looking to get through to the next stage. And that's quite understandable. But as the tournament goes on and as you get closer to the trophy, then I expect you to start shelling out your the biggest guns in your arsenal. For now, just make do, and which is what Manchester United did. So you don't mark their script based on the performance of last night. The important thing at this stage, like I said, for Carabao Cup, is just getting to the next round. And you will use any kind of player. Some players that you will not see till next month, use them now. The important thing is to get a good start in the Premiership. That's where the real competition is for top teams. Except you're a team like the likes of West Ham that really don't have any hope of winning the Premier League or even going to Europe.
Yes.
Then you can shell out all your players. You're not even competing in the UEFA Champions League, so you're not worried about injuries and the strain on the footballers. And then you can do what you like in the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, But if you're a big team, you have to prioritize, and that's what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did. And he won the game, which is the important part. End of discussion.
That's what we came
And
for.
if you're Nigerian, you saw Igalo play, which is what you watch it for.
Exactly.
Mhm.
This is what we came for.
All the bright lights.
Right.
About the bright sides of the argument.
Talking about what I came for, I came for this story because the money is just making my morning. Now listen to this. Inter Milan, they have completed a deal to sign Arturo Vidal from Barcelona for 1 million euros, guys. The club announced this on Tuesday. According to the Barca statement, here's how it read. Barcelona and Inter Milan have reached an agreement for the transfer of the player Arturo Vidal. The Italian team will pay FC Barcelona 1 million euros in variables. What is variables?
Look,
I understand the concept, but
yeah,
in this case,
it's CSR that they are doing in Barcelona now. They are not really selling players; they are dashing players. Early Christmas present, and this is what I was talking about. This is how you know that Barcelona are in real trouble. It's not the football on the pitch. If the football on the pitch is what gave you the idea, you came late to the party. It is the business end. Look at how much they spent in acquiring all these players and see how much they are giving them off. For
just like
basically for free.
Auction.
Vidal, Rakitic,
Who's next?
even Luis Suarez that may, do you understand that maybe or may not be, we are still negotiating whether he really cheated on his Italian test, or he did not cheat.
Oh, apparently.
Yeah.
That's still
Yes, that's the issue. Yeah.
So
But
they
I,
gave him expo. He saw the answer.
I can't believe we are
He
laughing
saw the
at.
marking script
I
before he
can't
went to
believe
do
we are
the
laughing
exam.
at Luis Suarez. But yeah, you know, it's ridiculous the business the poor business that Bartomeu has managed, and how he's still there till this morning is shocking to my bones. You look, I've said it. John Laporta, anybody else at Barcelona that is listening, you better get your political willpower and move that guy out there, because it seems like he's out there to bury the club. But yes, Arturo Fidel has moved on. Messi had his nice message for him.
Yes.
So this Luis Suarez, who may also be,
Mm.
they will also be giving nice message soon.
You know, it's so interesting how they're still holding on to Messi.
So, but that one is their
Yes.
first choice. That's the bride.
Ah,
That's the goose that lays the golden egg.
may you be that in your office. Somebody
So,
saying, man.
but the business they're doing is ridiculous. But they start their campaign in the La Liga this weekend. So let's see if their performance on the pitch will be um will be any source of hope for the club. But then again, they're starting their first match against Villarreal. I mean, you don't want to play the tough teams first, but hey.
It could even play in their favor.
Well, let's wait and see how that pans out.
Shimobi Victor from Alaba International said Manchester United fans are celebrating because they won against the club that's producing touchlights in Nigerian Lotton FC. As Mighty is falling over, he said Pep Guardiola should better use his tongue to count his own teeth, because every title is important. He should better use most of his first team. No story at all.
And then he should burn out his first team because he wants to hustle for Carabao Cup.
Zicolo says, Dear Guardiola, you are welcome to Arsene Wenger's shoe. And please add your names to your messages. Read one says, Adios to a loyal servant, Arturo. So Bartomeu and his guys decide to be Santa by September, doing giveaway for every club. Whole business. Guys, thank you. We've come to the end of this segment. Locker Room 981. Thank you, Tega. You can continue the conversation on Twitter with her. Use that hashtag Locker Room 981. Tweet at Tega Supreme. I'll catch up with the activities of ladies in sports, which she's championing at LIS International. Next, for Lagos Talks 981, today is Wednesday, so we have a special. You must have seen it on our Instagram live at Smooth981. We're going to be talking, I'll be talking with Bukola Bolaranwa on sickle cell awareness. This month is Sickle Cell Awareness Month, on challenges and accomplishments. That's starting in 14 minutes.
I managed to charge it. Okay, let me go and leave your phone.